anytime it felt like the government was getting its shit together and actually preparing some kind of clampdown, the mafia starts mobilizing the Sicilian independence movement or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this view, patronizing, you could argue kind of racist view of the South as being not really part of Italy, a different
absolutely.
breed of human, you know, subhuman in many ways is how they were viewed. And so the mafia again kind of incorporated this and said, yeah, actually, mafia isn't an organization. It's just a collection of attitudes. And we are actually an ineradicable part of Sicilian identity. So if you are announcing a crackdown on the mafia, what you're really talking about is a crackdown on Sicily or a crackdown on Campania or Calabria or wherever.
It was a vibe. They were trying to crack down on a vibe.
Yeah, yeah. That harsh the vibe.
You know who was trying to harsh the vibe, though?
Who's that?
A couple of magistrates guys named Falcone and Borsellino. And this is where things start to get really froggy, as if they were not froggy enough, and things start to get really crazy down in Sicily. Because there's these two judges, these two prosecutors rather, but
magistrates,
who are going after the mafia. And they're pretty successful. Falcone has what's called, I believe, the Falcone method, which is where he basically traces these networks using financial documents.
Yeah, follow the money. That's where follow the money comes from, which, by the way, is so crazy to think they didn't think of this like technique earlier. But
wait,
like
that's where follow them. Oh,
yes.
Oh no, it's yeah.
No,
wow.
Literally follow the money. The which it sounds not the saying, but like the method of tracing criminal activity, of following traces of money, literally comes from Falcone in the mid 80s, and it's still like this is, you know, the kind of what all international police use as the method of kind of trying to trace down criminal activity, but it really stems from here.
Exactly. And the mafia sees this as like these two guys coming after them with this huge public support behind them. It's like, whoa, wait, like I thought we kind of had an arrangement here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, meanwhile, these guys have been fucking wholesale. Again, they've been engaging in something called the slaughter, right? I mean, they've been fucking killing people, blowing people up on the streets of fucking Palermo and all throughout Sicily in this really outrageous way. And they like think that like it's an outrage that the state is trying to come out after them for it. They declare what can only really be called as a war against the government of Italy. And make no mistake, it is extremely fucking, it gets like really, 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 really crazy. Especially in the early 1990s. And they have these crazy fucking schemes there too. I mean, Matt, you listed some of them here.
Yeah, so they all got together and they were like, right, what could we do? So there was, let's bomb tourist hotspots. Let's bomb cultural heritage sites as well. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was a target. One idea they came up, unbelievable.
Well, no, what are you guys talking about? They did bomb it. That's why it's leaning like
that. Yeah, there was a policy, a scorched earth policy, I suppose you could call it, where if someone went into protective custody, like a mafioso, they would go after that guy's entire family and then his extended family as well. So, you know, there are examples of guys going in and then 40, 50, 60 of their relatives are killed, you know, in an attempt to flush them out again.
60 relatives. I'm like, how are you even related to that? I mean, I granted some people have like 10 brothers and sisters, but still it's like 60 relatives down and the guy's not out. He's not coming out for your fifth cousin.
And you have to think as well about, I mean, the practicalities of that, the number of people you have to corrupt to get access to like addresses, names, you know, all that kind of individual stuff. It blows my mind. Another idea they came up with, which they never implemented, was they were going to fly planes over beaches and drop tons of syringes that had been infected with HIV on like tourist beaches. For some reason, they never did that. Probably because it's just so fucking insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used HPV instead when they actually did it.
Where these ideas came up with is like all I can imagine is like a like really insane kind of like Goodfellas scene. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
seems so absurd.
I
It just
mean,
seems like a lot of you want to talk about like getting lost in the sauce. It's like I just see a round table of guys who are insanely fucked up.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
so high out of their minds, just being like, let's drop needles. Let's just
Fuck it.
fucking
We're
do
doing
it.
Let's
AIDS
do it.
needles.
Let's
We're doing
fucking
AIDS
do it.
needles in Naples.
Like it's so crazy.
I mean, this is a great example of just a society really that now is moving to a place that's just way the fuck out there, where the structures really start falling apart.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how terrifying this must have been to live through, where it's like a car bomb
know.
could go off at any moment, or
Yeah.
it might turn out that you're like the 35th cousin of some guy who's just turned state's witness. So your whole family has to go into hiding. And
Yeah.
and you could say it's terrorism, but it isn't really, because terrorists think that they're fighting some kind of political campaign, you know, against an enemy, an oppressor. This is it's just a raw exercise of power to me. This is just a demonstration of like, this is what we can do. This is how badly we can hurt the Italian state, you know.
Ultraviolence.
Ultraviolence, yeah.